Hello, this is Liam with All Souls Enterprises with your Sagittarius new moon, November 25th, 2019. Now we have the sun just moved into Sagittarius out of a Scorpio that suffered a Mercury retrograde, also with Mars lacking behind in the 12th house, so a little bit hidden, our energy, perhaps not at levels that we wish it was. Well, now we have Mars completely opposite in the sky in Scorpio across from Uranus in Taurus around the time of this new moon. This is a lot of electric energy in our root chakra area with Mars in Scorpio, who's also known as the snake, the serpent, and it has to do with this spiral-like serpentine energy that goes from the root of our chakra up through to the crown. 7 of them, representing the 7 visible heavenly luminaries. Now, in this new moon, we have a dance of the asteroids, of the female ones. And I think what they're trying to show us in their dance is it's a bunch of sextiles. How to use our sexual energy, channel it, to raise our vibrations, to open up the 7 seals, 7 chakras, so that we could have our own alchemical wedding, the marriage feast of the Passover lamb. We're in a very intense time as we're passing over from Pisces, the fish, into Aquarius. What a time to be alive! So, we have a beautiful conjunction of Jupiter and Venus at the last degrees of Sagittarius before they step into Capricorn, where they would rather not be. So it's like this great ball, like Cinderella, and you have to be home at a certain time. And now you could either do that, and so when Venus comes to Saturn, it gets rewarded for that because it showed self-discipline as a good disciple of Saturn, the disciple maker. He's like Mr. Miyagi, but can be mean, but he does this because he loves you, Saturn. And so, or you could totally splurge and not have oil in your lamp for when the Christ comes around. We just, in the Catholic Church, Catholic, just celebrated the last week of ordinary time in the Catholic Church. The 33rd week of ordinary time is the last week before the celebration of Christ the King. This, my friends, is the 33 vertebrae that our cerebral spinal fluid, together with the fluids in our system, that we raise them up with high vibratory living and imagination, magic. Not these things have colors coded to them, and we have to channel this fire, this electric fire that we're getting, that's highlighting our desires and our passions, and we have to make sure that those passions and us acting out on the right ones that are in line with the will of God, which is in our best interest. Uranus is the mind of God in Earth. Gaia and Uranus were the ancient couple of creation, the Lord of Heavens and then the Lord of Earth, a female. Could you believe it? A female was the Lord of Earth. Capricorn is the ruler of Earth, and with Saturn, it's a feminine sign. Not many people would think that Saturn It's feminine. He gets masculine in Aquarius. So Pisces is supposed to be a more feminine time. That's why Jesus looks pretty feminine. So the way to do this for the gentleman is when you see woman, which is so hard because it's on every Instagram profile pic as a booty in my face. And so if that's all about what's going on in my mind. Now I could look at that booty and be like, that is a beautiful creation of God. Or I could want to ravage it. I mean, in its way that's not respecting this woman as being more than just a piece of meat of flesh to fulfill your desire. I say you, I'm speaking about me. Share this with dudes. So what happens is when we get this, a trigger, it's a hit to your dopamine or whatever, and that happens in many other ways. Everything's trying to drain us from this awakening. So now you take this and you could focus and channel that energy instead of acting it out in a way that just is casting pearls of swine. You harness it and you keep that oil like the Vestal virgins, Vesta in the sacred temple, you, which keeps the eternal flame lit, which is the fire of the Spirit from God that fills our soul, that makes us whole. Here we have the freaking precious asteroids all lining up with this new moon, 6 degrees. So here we have Juno, the faithful wife to Jupiter, even though he was a total idiot. These all have planetary meanings as well. But Juno, what she shows us is faithfulness. Take that faithfulness to like yourself, to your spouse, to God's, the universe's plan for you right here. We're not here just to stay at a Christmas vacation resort for the whole time we're here, but we do have a little bit of a stay there. So let's enjoy it, live in the now, but prepare for a tough 2020 beginning, at least. Structures being torn down, crumbling down, to be transformed and rebuilt better is what Pluto does. It's not fun. Unless you're on the right side of it. How do you get on the right side of this? On your own, with God's grace, we strip away all that is holding us down from ascending. So we have this full moon conjunct Pallas Athena. Pallas Athena is this warrior goddess that I think is so necessary for this time in our life. She's like a combination of Venus, she's just the bomb. They never talk about her in a sexual way. She's the goddess of strategic warfare. She shows up in the Hebrew Bible as leading them into victory, into war. It was Athena. It was a Greek story, totally taken. Here she is, much like Moses, putting a bronze staff into the ground for the snake to come up. This is the Kundalini energy going up your spine. The spine is ruled by Saturn. Saturn, this glyph looks like this. The cross, the tree of life in the garden that we got kicked out of. And a seraphim with his fiery sword guards it. The fiery sword is the spine. And it's wrapped in these serpentine energy coils. And to activate them, we have to hold our lower base root chakra desires, follow them up. The Vestal virgins who have the oil in their lamp when the bridegroom comes along. 6 of them were fools, 6 of them were something. That's winter and that's summer. But she has the shield that she won from Mars. And she has the spear that was forged by Hephaestus. She has Medusa's medallion. She is. All those stories are all astrological about the 12 signs that we go through, the 12 labors of Hercules, the 12 apostles, the 12 tribes of Judah, 12 months of the year, the 12 signs of the zodiac, the 12 Knights of the Round Table, 12 steps in AA. There we have the Owl of Minerva. Minerva is known to inspire artists as well, to be able to get their creative juices and put them into the world. Neptune, sextile, Saturn, which has Pallas Athena in a sextile to it. And this is what I'm talking about with this dance. It's the sugar plum freaking asteroid dance. Oh, well, let's go through. Here's the wings of the cherubim. So the seraphim is a fiery serpent sword that keeps Adam and Eve out of the garden of life. And it's the way back in. Up the freaking sword, Excalibur. And so that's the seraphim. And here's the cherubim, which is the cerebellum in the brain. Cerebellum, Sarah, and then the Abram, the cerebrum is Abram, the cerebellum is Sarah. Sarah and Abraham in the land of milk and honey. The milk is the female pineal gland, pituitary. The honey, the pineal gland of the male. The red and the blue battling serpents, dragons. Castor and Pollux. Sometimes you'll see it with the columns and the middle path. Sometimes you'll see 3 crucifixes with Christ in the middle. The good thief and the bad thief. Right, to bring them together, the 7 chakras to rise up the 33 Sundays of ordinary time in the Catholic Church to be crowned as Christ the King on this Sunday's Mass. As Venus and Jupiter, Jesus, and Mary Magdalene, Venus, come together in holy union and matrimony before they step into Armageddon together. Where there's going to be tears, there's going to be hard times, there's going to be successes, but it is another level on the way to the top of this mountain of the goat that is really going to see if we could be our greatest we could be of all time. Going a lot longer than I thought. Have I even said anything? Don't answer that. I'm doing this to really try to break out and be myself. We're coming from the Scorpio season. There's a snake. It's in charge of that. Mercury is the messenger who is a circulatory system who brings this energy up the spine of Saturn, up to the head where we bring the moon and the sun together in marriage. And it goes down to the signs, down to Saturn, up to Jupiter. Jupiter's helium, he serves the rises. So that's why the Scorpio into Sagittarius is the phoenix. Before he gets there, he's got to get to the hawk, which is a control over the mind, and have mind be control over the emotions and the desires and passions. And then when you're hip to occult knowledge, Then you turn that hawk with your imagination, your magic, and through your higher vibratory living and thinking and feeling, you're able to raise this sacred chrism. You're able to uncoil this snake and straighten it on the bronze staff in the desert so that whoever may look upon it may not suffer death. That's what's going on in this universe right now. A little intense? Yes. So let's take an attitude of gratitude, of thankfulness. That's what we do in Jupiter Sagittarius season. Because if you don't, and you get cocky, you get slammed down. The gods don't like the haughty. So don't be a hottie toddy. Speaking of hottie toddy, I might need one. But that's going to conclude this. I said I was going to maybe pick a card. Oh, heavenly, angelic hosts, seraphim, cherubim, principalities, dominions, thrones. Break open this veil that we might be able to reach through and meet you and receive a message from you as guidance on this way up this hill. The Queen of Cups. This is like the Scorpio woman, like who's a boss. Or the Pisces woman, queen, who's seen it all, who's control her emotions and then read them and develop psychic powers. But first she's got to calm that sea and take her throne. And that's how we step into Capricorn season as the King of Pentacles. Male-female shift. Earth, water, fire, air. Love you. Adore you. Like, don't forget to smash that subscribe button.